Mary Holland ist Präsidentin und Rechtsvorstand von Children's Health Defense, einer Non-Profit-Organisation, welche es sich zum Ziel gesetzt hat, schädliche Einflussfaktoren für die Gesundheit von Kindern zu beseitigen, Verantwortliche zur Rechenschaft zu ziehen und Sicherheitsgrenzen einzurichten, um zukünftigem Schaden vorzubeugen. Zuvor war Holland 17 Jahre lang Dozentin an der New York Universität School of Law und hielt an der Columbia Law School Vorlesungen über internationale Menschenrechte. Sie hat an den Universitäten Harvard und Columbia studiert und war im internationalen öffentlichen und privaten Recht tätig. Holland ist Mitverfasserin oder Mitherausgeberin von 3 Büchern über Impfstoffe. Der HPV-Impfstoff auf dem Prüfstand, auf der Suche nach Gerechtigkeit für eine betrogene Generation. Impfstoffepidemie. Wie Konzerngier, voreingenommene Wissenschaft und Zwangsmaßnahmen unsere Menschenrechte, unsere Gesundheit und unsere Kinder bedrohen. Und erst kürzlich erschienen Turtles All the Way Down. Impfstoffwissenschaft und Mythos. Im US-amerikanischen Kongress, in den Parlamenten der Bundesstaaten und auf internationaler Ebene referierte Holland über Impfungen, Impfausnahmen und die informierte Zustimmung zur Impfung. Heute freuen wir uns, Ihnen Mary Holland in einem Exklusiv-Interview während des CHD-Kongresses in Budapest im November 2022 vorzustellen.
My name is Mary Holland. I'm the President and General Counsel of Children's Health Defense. We are a non-governmental charitable organization based in the United States, but we have chapters here in Europe, we have chapters in Africa, and we are developing chapters around the world. We started as Children's Health Defense 5 years ago, and we are about stopping the toxic exposures to children that are causing chronic disease epidemics worldwide. We want to hold the people accountable who have been causing these epidemics and ensure that it doesn't happen again. During COVID, in the last 3 years, our agenda has enlarged because now the whole population has been subject to vaccine mandates. But we do things besides vaccines as well, pesticide-related things, fluoride in water, other toxic exposures. The toxic exposures through the COVID shots have now affected the global population. So we are dealing with those issues as well as censorship issues, propaganda issues, and really issues around democracy.
So you're very investigated into defending children's health.
Yes, so because we started with compulsory vaccination for children, that's sort of that is our key focus. And as children are the most vulnerable people in any population, they can't speak for themselves, they're minors, they don't have the rights to vote. If we focus on the children, we believe that we are actually serving the whole population. But we're not only focused on children at this point.
Yeah. And what role and responsibility do parents have and should be aware of in this whole game?
Well, we have a website, www.childrenshealthdefense.org, and we have one .eu specifically for Europe in European languages. We have a daily newsletter. We have 18 hours of television programming every week on our website. So we want to educate people. We want to give people the tools to advocate. We're also involved in science and litigation. And we want parents to know the truth. We want them to know that children do not need COVID shots. They are dangerous in general and for children in particular. And we want parents to be able to exercise rights on behalf of their children. We believe that nobody knows children better than their own parents and that their rights must be protected. There is, in fact, a global effort to diminish parental rights and to allow states and governments to make decisions about vaccination for children. We oppose that. We believe that parents have to be able to decide for their minor children up to age 18 what is the right medical decision for their children until the children reach majority, and then they have to make their own decisions.
Yeah. You already mentioned that there is like a intentional design to deceive parents out of this decision making about vaccination and so on. What do you want to tell parents who feel alone and
Right.
hopeless with their concerns regarding vaccination?
Well, parents who have questions about the shots should definitely look at our website, childrenshealthdefense.org. We have enormous amounts of information about COVID shots. Parents who do not want to vaccinate their children are not alone. In fact, worldwide, it's a very small minority of parents who have vaccinated minor children, even though these shots have now been recommended for those 6 months and above. It's a very small percentage, at least in the United States, it's well under 10%. So those parents are not a minority. They're not alone. They are the majority who recognize that it is not wise to give growing children experimental products that have not been tested in a rigorous way. So we stand with those parents, and we do believe that parents have to make some hard choices. For instance, in some states in the United States, it is quite likely that the states will mandate these shots in the public school system. We will fight that as Children's Health Defense, but if they do, we encourage parents to do what's necessary, because we are here at a school today where a 17-year-old who apparently got the shots has died suddenly. So we don't know if it was caused by the vaccines, but we know that it's plausible. We know that young people in particular have been dying from heart-related complications from these shots. That's a tragedy. It's absolutely a tragedy that a 17-year-old's life has been cut short because he wanted to play sports. It's just insane, and this is happening worldwide, and it needs to stop. We oppose these shots in general. They should not be given the horrendous safety profile that they already have, but they certainly shouldn't be being given to children. We have lawsuits to try to prevent this, both on the mandate level and against the authorization by the Food and Drug Administration in the US. And Children's Health Defense Europe is also fighting against the fact that these gene therapies were not appropriately authorized by the European Medicines Agency.
And what gives you hope to go your way, to resist, as you told us yesterday?
Yes.
What is this? What is your source of power?
Well, there are many wonderful people who are fighting in this fight with me. Just look at this large crowd of people here in Hungary. People around the world understand that there's something very, very wrong. These shots don't stop infection or transmission. There is no rationale to be giving them to everybody. And yet these people like Bill Gates and the World Health Organization say, oh, only if we vaccinate 7 billion people. It makes no sense. So we have to stand up against this insanity, especially because we know it's killing people. I believe that people are waking up worldwide. I do believe that people are resisting, and I believe our job at Children's Health Defense is to support them, to do them, to give them strength, to make them know they're not alone, to make them know that they have logic on their side, and the law on their side, and the science on their side, and the truth on their side, and to give them the power so that we can change the system. We must change the system.
Yeah. And is there a light at the end of the tunnel so that we have hope? I believe
there is. I definitely have hope. I lived through the end of the Soviet Union. That was my first cause. I spent a lot of time there. And nobody thought that the country was going to fall apart when it did. But it was gone in a very short period of time. The Berlin Wall came down in a very short period of time. People always think that the system is stronger than it is. It's actually quite fragile. I don't believe that this new one world government will succeed. They certainly have an agenda that by 2030 we live in a completely transformed world. I don't believe that will succeed, but we do need people to wake up and join the mission and say, we want body sovereignty, we want national sovereignty. We don't want a one world centralized government with complete surveillance and biosecurity. It's not a human vision of the future.
So you come from America, all the long way, and is there anything else you want to tell our European audience, as your last words for today?
Yes, we are with you in Europe. We know that it is a very difficult time in Europe. We know that between a war in Ukraine and fuel shortages and food prices going up and very strong efforts by the European Commission to form a new Europe, we know that this is a hard time, and I believe it may become a harder time in the next few months. We are with you, and we want to support efforts for people to have their own sovereignty over their lives.
Thank you so much, Mary, for these amazing words.
Thank you so much.
Let's walk this path together to light everyone up.